stream cut out. What can I say? It happens sometimes. So hopefully you guys come back and see what's going on. Anyways, for those of you who do stop in now, thanks for watching. Happy New Year, 2019. I'm gonna move the camera over a little bit, make it easier to get to, among other things, and hopefully get a little bit better view of what I'm doing today. So, okay, it's kind of a pain in the ass. I'm standing on top of this freaking tall ladder here, and I gotta undo this deal. Okay. Get that crap and unplug that. All right. Sorry, stream cut out there. If it was you who were in the last stream that I had going on, it just happens sometimes. So I'm gonna go ahead and move. I'm moving the camera here. I think it'll make for a little bit better view of what I'm doing. Make the camera a little bit easier to get to. When I say camera, I mean the phone. That's basically how I'm doing this. I'm recording it via phone, so I have to be next to it to see the chat. Hey, Feudal91. I thought it was you when I was reading the chat earlier, but I couldn't really see what you said. Well, Happy New Year. Yeah, thanks for stopping in here. I'm gonna go ahead and move this thing. No hat today. No, it's somewhat cold still, but not nearly as bad as last night. Last night it was very low single digits, and then today it's like, it's probably 20 something today, you know, so it's still freezing, but it's not like, it's not awful. I wear this thing and I have a pretty good like coat, and I think I'm fine without the hat, you know. I try to wear the balaclava because I feel like I get, you know, I don't know about you, but in the bad cold I get like sore throats and stuff a lot. Okay, hold on. Man, it's fucking messy here. Oh, okay. That's a pretty cool view in that. Oh man, until the sun gets too low to where it starts to really wash out the camera. Hopefully it's not doing that already. Please let me know if it is, but for now, God, that's really pretty, isn't it? Huh. All right, and that'll be a lot easier for me to get to the camera now, so I can actually see it without having to climb up the top of that freaking ladder, you know? Anyways, hope you had a good New Year. Happy 2019. Okay, stream's still on. Hasn't shut off yet. Nice. Hold up. I'm gonna go ahead and plug in my Happy 2019. Do you have a goal for completion for the house? Shit, I've had various goals for it that I thought basically here's what it is. I just say, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get it. And at this point, I just need to get it dried in as soon as possible and then start working on the rest of the stuff. I don't really I don't really have a goal. No, I mean as far as when it's going to get done, I just work on it a little bit every day, and it's like, all right, eventually it'll be done. Um, I kind of, it's an interesting thing that I have going on here. The whole story I have a lot of pictures and stuff from like all the early stages and everything, and at some point I'll probably link to that here on the Twitch. But it's been this thing where I kind of I started out by like camping out up here, and then building the cabin. When I was first up here, I didn't have even a well or anything here, so I'd basically just, when I was at a friend's place or in town, I'd fill up like 5-gallon jugs and bring it back here and like put it in a little water cooler, and so it was kind of like developing things like as I go forward further and further. Yeah, it was kind of so point being, I'm not trying to like ramble on here, but it's kind of like, well, I'm sort of, I'm up here living life, doing the thing, developing the property, and building the house, kind of all as one large project. So got other stuff going on, so I don't like, what do you do for a living? Engineering work. That was actually an interesting kind of, interesting thing is being up here and camping out and still trying to maintain kind of, being presentable and everything. But yeah, so all right, well, let me get back to it. Hopefully better camera angle here. Excuse me. Damn. Damn, my hands are cold. Breaking out. Haha, nice. Okay, so I think, real quick, I have a hunch that when I go ahead and tighten in the two screws that are going to go in these holes that I just drilled, not in this beam, but the beam just in the middle there, I have a hunch that when I tighten those in, because that's, as I've mentioned, there's that kind of twist in it, and I think that twist is pretty rigid. I don't expect that twist, that these 12-inch screws are going to make it untwist back to normal. I don't think they have enough power to do that just because it's such a massive timber. So what I want to do is I think I'm going to loosen up the one of the screws on the other side so that it doesn't, when I screw one down here, there's a gap, and that it doesn't actually take the kind of beam and sort of want to like kick it out. I know it sounds kind of wacky, but that sort of stuff kind of happens with these gaps and stuff. So anyways, that's what I'm going to try to do here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put these screws in. So I want the back one to come up a little bit. That's what I want there. So back one up a little bit. The tiniest bit. Oh, it's actually fine. I forgot about that. Shit. So it looks like yesterday when I was screwing those in, that I purposely left that one a little bit further out for that reason. So that's good. We're all good there. Let's see, how far do I go with this? Ooh. Philly JW, now that's a view, that's right, yeah. Yeah, I was trying to fix up the camera a little bit to make something kind of visually appealing for you guys. Well, let me just recap real quick what I'm doing here before I put these two screws in. Awesome, thank you, yeah. I've been getting a little bit better at like picking the good, camera angles and getting this stuff kind of figured out. So here's what I'm going to do. Right now I have these beams. They're 8x12 beams. I have them on top of these posts, these 8x8 posts, and I'm using these 12-inch Timberlock screws. Now the head on that is like a Torx bit. It's a T, I think it's a T40. I think Torx is the whatchamacallit, the proprietary name, but like a, star bit or whatever. So anyway, so I'm using this bit, and then I have this like kind of extender here in this, impact driver. Reason being that basically once I start, I have holes bored out in these beams, roughly 5 or 6 inches down. And the reason for that being is this is a 12-inch screw going into a 12-inch beam. It's not going to work. I has to have some extra space to bite down into that post. So I bore a hole down into the beam, and then I use this extender to actually, make this screw go down that extra 6 inches or so that I've bored out, and then it has that extra length to bite into the post. Hopefully you understand me there. I'm trying to, explain all this stuff best I can. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get to it now. Let me go ahead and back over there. I just drilled those holes out, and I'm going to go ahead and now put these Timberlock screws in, and that will hold this post in place here. You may see it twist a little bit. I'm going to keep this chat up here. DC Plays 101. Hi. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a good 2019. Hope you had a good new year. And yeah, just let me know if you want to see anything, got any questions, etc. I'm going to check. I try to, I'll work for a little bit, then come back and check chat. So right now I'm going to go ahead and screw these things in, and then actually I'll probably, right after that, I'll probably move on to the next one here. One and two. Okay, here we go. What? Oh, what the hell? Alright, so when I started screwing that one in, I could see that it was kind of had a little bit of a bend to it. It's not significant, I could probably use it, but I don't want any surprises, so I'm going to go ahead and switch it out. I might have stepped on it or something, you know. What happens when the site's kind of a mess. going to put this little extender on here so I can actually go down to that bored hole there. Excuse me. I see you guys are chatting in there. I can't read it from here, but I'll check that in a little bit. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah. All right, starting to bite in there now. You can see that post move the tiniest bit. Cool. It's good. All right. Cool. Oh yeah, it's good shit. That's what I want. All right, so if it came out the slightest bit, then we could come a tiniest bit that way, which is cool. Okay. So right here, into it, but actually that's right on though. That's so good. Okay, let's see here. I don't need that. Check it on this side here. That's as expected. Could come a little bit. Fuck with that? I don't think so. I think I do. Tiniest bit here. That's in there pretty good. Yeah, I'm not moving that thing. I'm going to call that good there. There's a little bit of a gap right here, as I kind of expected. Again, it's just the way that these things have kind of warped. So what I'm going to do is actually put shims and stuff under there, because over time, with the weight on this wall, when I put the clerestory on here and then I have the roof built on top of that, this will eventually kind of, I expect, straighten out. And so there's this gap under here, and I don't want to leave it too big so that it can really, settle that much. I want to kind of fill that up. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on this one here too. But this thing's on. This is solid. I'm loving that. That's great. Pretty soon I'll be able to take all this crap off this, all these braces and stuff. Or at least most of them. Let's see if I can do all the work here from this scaffolding, this rolling scaffolding I have. It's a lot nicer than using the ladder for it. Ah, nice. I can check the chat a lot more now. The camera over here. Okay. Oh, cool. Looks like I got some people chatting. And then thank you, Philly, JW. Kind of responding back. Some people here, too. So we got, okay, so a few new people I haven't seen before. M-Slave, DC Plays 1011. I talked to you a second ago. Philly, JW. Looks chilly there today. Type person. Looking a heat gun and warm up my hands every 20 minutes. I'll tell you what I have. This is actually... I was pretty proud of this. Hold on a second. See if we can see it from down here. Not really. Let me move the camera over. Yeah, that's a little heating pad. So like the type of heating pad that you would, use for like your back or something. I decided to bring it out here so that I could actually I could set the batteries on it, because I think the batteries were getting one of the batteries acted up yesterday, and I don't know if it was because of the extreme cold. So I decided to bring it out here so I could set the batteries on it. Not to mention too, I have an extra set of gloves. I'll keep them in there so they keep warmed up. But I understand wanting to plug in a space heater, heat gun. Yeah, I hear you on that. I guess I can kind of get used to it. I got to keep zipped up here, keep my warm clothes on. They say if you keep your core warmed up, your hands should be okay. It doesn't always, if it gets too cold, that's not true, but for the most part, yeah. Okay, so where's the M-Slave says, where's located? View's awesome. Philly JW says is in Montana. That's right, I am in Montana, in the Bittert Valley of Montana. Very cool. Closest I've been was Northwest Wyoming. Ah, okay. Will the timbers be exposed on the inside? Yes, they will. On this side, on the here. Okay, so they'll be exposed on the back side here. The front side, this side here will a little bit too, but not as much. I mean, because what I'm going to have here is I'm going to have roof rafters coming off from these timbers down to the, the top plate of that wall here. So they're going to go from there to here, these roof rafters, and so those will be exposed, but not as much. The inside there, the full face of that will be exposed, and then the bottoms, essentially, yeah. Other than in the middle, I'm putting a wall right there, so it's kind of hard to see. But where that ladder is right now, I'm going to have a wall in there, so the bottom of that won't be exposed, at least not much. All right, well, let me get back to it. I'm going to try to finish screwing these things. Actually, I don't have enough height here on this scaffolding, so I'm going to continue to use the ladder. And thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for chatting, and hope everybody's having a good 2019 so far.
What you doing, Eddie?
Oh, hey.
Making progress, are you, buddy?
How's it going, Ron?
All right.
How's your New Year?
Are you right back?
That's right. That's for the videos.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got one going now.
Oh, oops, sorry.
Yeah, I know. You're right. You're right.
No, mine's okay.
Yeah.
Uneventful. How about yourself?
Doing good. Doing
Good,
good. Yeah, I'm putting these screws in now. So I did the
Screws.
yeah, I got some Timberlock
Oh,
screws
yeah,
going in.
yeah.
I'm gonna get some some like metal plates, some
Yeah.
like T brackets for these
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But this is just kind of a way to get them secured, so I can start
Sure.
putting the rafters on, etc. So the twist on these things hasn't been too bad. I've been able to mitigate it a little bit using some shims, and then
Sure.
just screwing and kind of watching it and everything. It's been pretty good.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal. I was wondering how you're making out down here.
Yeah, doing my thing, just moving along.
That's all. That's all matters.
Yeah.
It'll eventually get there. Oh, that's ice.
Yeah,
That's ice,
yeah, I know,
brother.
right? It's-
That's ice.
You do what you can, right? I've been trying to sweep it off,
Yeah.
and I've been doing pretty good about it. But you know how it is. There's
I do
still-
know. Yeah. Good deal.
Did y'all have family over or anything for New Year's? You do anything?
All week.
All week.
All week.
Oh my God.
They're still here.
Trying to get out a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh,
They're one's leaving tomorrow, and two of them are leaving on Friday. So
Okay,
it makes Susan happy, so that's all that matters.
that's good.
Yeah. Good deal.
Yeah.
I was wondering how you're making out.
Yeah, I can't wait to get some of these braces off the thing. It's getting kind of nuts. I'm like, once I have these in, now what I'm going to do is just, I might actually just put some like plywood gussets up there or something, just to kind of on the back side, just to hold it up so I can take these,
Yeah.
so I can have that kind of in this direction.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not like at this point though. I mean, it takes some crazy stuff for it to really
Yeah.
move much in that direction. But at least in this direction, I'm going to try to keep something up.
Yeah.
Because I mean, those Timberlock screws, it's like,
Yeah.
they hold it on, but I'm not counting on it for any kind of real like sheer,
No, it's not going to go anywhere.
yeah. So.
Yeah, as long as you got one.
Yeah, I put that up
in
there.
each direction, or are we like?
Well, I put
mean,
it up
you
there
can get,
because
you
what
can get
I,
rid of one of these.
I only need one, but what I did is I put it up there because originally, I think what happened was, once we had the beams up there, I wanted to measure them again for plumb, and they were a little bit out.
Yeah.
So I put one on here just temporarily,
Yeah.
unscrewed the other one, tapped it in a little bit to move it back,
Sure.
and then it was good. Now they're golden.
Perfect.
I did a string line across here and everything. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm waiting for your next step, man.
Yeah.
I want to
me
see
too.
it. I want to
Me
see it,
too.
Eddie.
I can't wait. I'll be getting these roof rafters notched pretty soon here.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Don't worry. I'll let you know if I got something I'm wondering about. I will give you a call.
Oh yeah.
not too bad. We'll get a little bit of sun this week, yeah.
Kind of cold today, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, last night was pretty bitter. I was, you know, doing it for a little bit until probably 7 or 8 or so, and it was getting pretty damn cold last night.
That's what Susan says. Eddie's down there working.
Yeah.
I walked outside, so I don't see no lights. He must have
I
bailed.
was like, all right, now it's getting a little, you know,
Yeah.
a little chilly. I'm gonna let my neighbors enjoy themselves. I try not to keep it going too late every night.
You do what you got to do, man.
Yeah, right.
You do what you got to do.
It's like getting in this freaking thing. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Exactly. Alrighty. I was seen you had your light on down here. I thought, well, the hell, he's down there working.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll go down there and see what the guy's doing.
Yeah, well, thanks for checking in. Let me know we're good on ladder still. Cool.
You just,
It's safe. I'm using it for everything.
yeah,
so.
you just use it. Man.
Great.
Well, careful on that thing if you get off that way.
Oh yeah, yeah. That one I just have lying around.
I was gonna say, you'll definitely, you put it on that day, you'll definitely be on the ground.
Oh, yeah. I've had a few close calls, not with the ladders, fortunately, just with myself carrying a load. So it's like, okay, you
Yeah.
know, almost like bust mass on the thing.
Hey, your drill, you don't have no problem with that son of a bitch. Oops, sorry about that.
Which one? No, sorry. Which one?
Your drill there.
The drill? Okay, yeah.
Cause I just literally just bought one.
Oh yeah.
Almost same model.
The M18.
Yep.
Okay.
The Dirty Dog does not like the cold. It will not run. I mean, I'm sending it back. I got a new one coming.
You sure it wasn't the battery?
Nope.
Okay. I'll tell you what. The only thing I had is the battery. Sometimes, like in the cold,
Mhm.
it would like discharge really quickly.
Right.
But I've had it. Will it basically just? It's like this thing says it's good, but it just won't do anything.
Right.
I've had it happen, but I don't know if it was just cold or what. But I've had it happen randomly at times.
Okay.
But not that much, you know.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Because I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, where it just it won't do anything.
nothing.
Yeah.
Light won't come on. Nothing.
I've had the same thing.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but like I said, most of the time no, but occasionally, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I take the battery out, put it back in. It's good.
Really.
Yeah. They're nice though. They're
Oh,
freaking
yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Did
yeah.
you get the impact driver too? or
Oh,
just
yeah,
this?
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. I literally just. It's only 10 days old. And it's going back.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, they said we got another one on its way, so let's try it.
Yeah.
All right, Eddie.
Alrighty.
You can put your sign up.
I know we're good. We're good. All right.
All right, bud.
I'll see you, Ron. Thanks for checking in.
Yep. Stay warm, brother.
I will. You too. All right. There we go. Let's see. Is that too far back? I think it's okay. I can move it now. Whew. All right. Oh, wrong one. Damn it. That's fine there. Let's see. Go ahead and screw these, or drill these 2 holes now. Philly JW, does that guy work in industry? Yes, he does. And you might have seen him. I've had him pop in when I was doing streams like early on once or twice, and he's helped me a ton. He was he was the guy that helped me put up these beams. He knows a lot of stuff. I ask him stuff all the time. He works very fast. He'll climb on a tall ladder, doesn't give a shit. He's not a little like sheepish like I am about it. He's a great resource. He's an awesome guy. Yeah. That's been a huge part of this whole project. Everything that I've done, not just the house building, but I was building the cabin or doing stuff with the property and everything. Having good friends and neighbors has been just like crucial. So, yeah. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and well, just gonna grab some water real quick. Then I'm gonna put the screws in here, and I still haven't done the ones for the outside posts, and those are gonna be, I mean, just not as difficult. I think just the being able to kind of lean up against the wall and everything. It's not gonna be as freaky, but all right. Let's see here. Do this. I'm gonna screw that in a little bit in that direction. Cool. Okay. By the way, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for chatting, and yeah, hope you're enjoying the stream. Hope you're having a good 2019. I think it's a pretty good camera angle. I'll go ahead and leave it here for now. It's kind of nice, you know, get a good view of the mountains back there, and a good view of what I'm actually doing up here. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna go grab a headlamp too, just since it's gonna get dark here pretty soon. Scares the hell out of me. And the yells all I can see. Okay. All right. M Slave, love the sign. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Alrighty. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and I think I'm gonna go ahead and put those screws in now. Except I need to get to it's already there, it's already there. Nice. Dun, dun. All right, doing good on battery. If I just screw the right direction here. Hold up now. think that's going to be a problem. I'm not totally sure. It's just the screw is kind of pushed up against the edge of the hole. Again, I think it'll bend enough. It's just I'm trying to imagine if it's going to be a problem for me or not. Don't think so. But if it is, the only problem is it's going to be hard to get that in the hole there. I'll mess with that in a second once I get the first one in all the way. Okay. Alright, it's moving a little bit. Expected. Okay, I can't really see if it's moving. I'm going to grab my headlamp real quick. I just have it down here at the bottom. I want to see if that rod is still spinning there. Philly JW, amazed you can work without a radio. The peace and quiet might be nice too, I guess. You know, I actually have earbuds in, and I have like I play music, you know. But yeah, if I wasn't doing streaming or something, I mean, you know, I used to have just a radio out here, but yeah, now I just put something on, you know, like Spotify or whatever, just download something, listen to it. Peace and quiet is nice, but I do go a little nuts if I don't have anything to listen to and I'm just working up here time after time. It's like I start getting up in my head, not good. I like to have a little something just to kind of keep me moving, you know. Maybe we could roll back a little bit. That's pretty much dead nuts on, actually. I think I'm going to go ahead and screw it in there on the other side. Yeah. I like where that's at now. Interesting problem I've got there. What am I going to do with that? How am I going to fix that? Let's see. Screwed it in properly from the start would be part of it, but is that a good way to do it? Go. Cool. Ooh, So it might be, you can probably see here with the, from your angle, I've mentioned this before in other streams, basically these beams, they're slightly twisted, they're slightly warped. So one side is kind of turned a little bit from the other side. If you look down here, you'll see it a little bit. You'll notice that it's kind of, there's kind of gaps right where they meet. There's a little bit of a gap because one side is turned one way, the other side is turned a little bit the other way. Structurally not a problem. And in fact, I can look on the camera here, it doesn't look that bad. In person, it looks a little bit worse, but not too bad. Structurally, it's not a thing to worry about, but it's something that I'm going to have to frame this clear story, like a wall is going to go on top of this, you know, from there, you know, this way. And so I want to make sure I have a nice flat surface to do the framing on and a nice flat surface to hang my roof rafters from because I have roof rafters that are coming off this direction here. So, all right, well, that's all the ones in the middle, and that's good now. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and put the screws in on the outside, the two outside posts. Again, I don't expect it to take really that long here. Everything takes a little longer than expected, but go ahead and get it done. Then I can move on to something else. For anybody who's been watching the past few streams, sorry I've been doing the same shit every time, it seems like, but sometimes it's how it is, so. Actually, here, I'm going to go ahead and turn this camera back and set it back to where I was, because I'm going to be moving stuff around a little bit. Might as well leave it on a better view there while I'm trying to figure out my setup. I'm going to move the scaffolding here, bring the ladder over. Okay, here we go. Put my that's 2 inches there, 10 inches. So now it's going to be. Yeah, I can leave that there. It's fine. Hey, here we go. Sorry, those of you who are enjoying that nice view up the other direction. I will move it back in a little bit here after I finish this step. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just marking this here, and I'm going to go ahead and hold up. How often do you stream, Percy, please? Gosh, seems like it's I mean, on the weekends I try to do both days, but it's usually about every other day, you know. I tend to stream at like in the evenings, at least for Mountain Time, the evening. So, you know, ideally like 6 o'clock Mountain Time during the weekdays, starting around then until 9 or 10. And then on the weekends, kind of afternoon our time. You know, afternoon I try to start up, 2 o'clock. Usually not earlier than that. But I might get in a few like long days, coming up here. But yeah, thanks for asking. Slave, do you do any construction type work or had any experience, carpentry, etc.? I'll show you guys something. I don't know, some other streams earlier I've gave out a few little things that I've learned here and there. One tip that I didn't do it with this square, but these speed squares, sorry about this. These speed squares are really nice because you can basically, they just have all these measurements on them, if you're people who are doing framing, use them all the time, especially bigger ones. For those of you who've done a little bit of construction stuff or some carpentry, one of the things I learned that was pretty cool was that if you have one, again, I didn't do it with this metal one here. I have another one that's like a fiberglass or something I did it with. But you can actually kind of drill out. So like right here we have, 1, 2. So you could drill out like a little notch here at 1.5. Or a little notch here at like 3.5. which is like for your 2x4, that would be your like 1.5 for your 2-dimension, or your 3.5 for your 4-dimension. And then you could, you have a little spot, a little notch there that if you're going to drag it along something, you could stick the pencil in that little notch and just drag it along. It's pretty nice, pretty handy. Again, this is just the metal one, doesn't have that. But there's a nice little tip. I've used it, pretty handy. I do not try to learn basic woodworking myself, and I've been doing some wood carving for fun too. Very cool. I've done really no wood carving. I shouldn't say that. I've fooled around with it just the tiniest bit, just with some wood that I found, but it really didn't make anything significant. But that's great. But basic woodworking, yeah. The framing stuff, yeah, there you go. Thank you, Philly JW. But yeah, the framing is M-Slave is really fun. If you get the chance to ever like build a shed or even a house, you know. I would start with the shed, of course. It's nice to learn on something smaller, but the framing part of it is really enjoyable. And I gave this tip last time too. Philly JW, you probably know this, but for anybody who might not, if you don't know the reason they make construction pencils like this shape, this square shape, it's so they don't roll if you have them on like a slanted surface, you know. They still slide, but they don't roll. So that's why they have them that square shape like that. Just a little tip here and there. I'll try to add in a few more. I've learned some interesting stuff like that, but you know, there's a lot of little tricks and stuff that I've learned as just basically doing the building as one person. There's a lot of little things that you pick up. I have very limited tools, but I'm planning on putting up framing in my basement. Awesome. Yeah, right on. You know, hopefully you have, you know, a tool share or something nearby. We have one nearby, which is really good for some of the larger tools and stuff, you know. I do have quite a bit, though. I mean, honestly, I have bought quite a bit of stuff. All right, now, I just marked these things. So I'm going to go ahead and drill these holes and then put the screws in. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for sticking around, and hope you're having a good first day of 2019. Hope you're a little bit warmer than I am. Damn, where's my freaking thing here? Light bulb burn out? Oh, it did. Damn, my light bulb burned out right on me. Didn't even notice it. Okay, well, that's how it is. Grab my shirt. Okay, here we go. Put these. See, now it's been fun. It's been fun in here for sure. Cool. Glad to hear you say that. All right, so now, by the way, when I'm climbing up on this thing, I'm a lot more comfortable up here because these posts are these beams are pretty well secured in now. I'm not expecting any one of them to just flop off the side, or I couldn't even really knock one off the side with these big screws in here. And then this one is actually notched, so it's actually kind of it's a little bit wedged in here, in the way that it kind of worked out. In fact, let me show you real quick. Might be interesting to see. Yeah, I'm gonna I don't need that block anymore. I'm not gonna be leveling this thing out any more than I already did. Excuse me. So what I did here, by the way, I used this thing. Looks like a Milwaukee advertisement there. Don't mean to do that. What I did here was, I can turn this off, is I had screwed this little block in, and I had a screw that I put on the back side of it that I was using to kind of hold a string. So I wrapped a string tighter on there and pulled it across to the other side for the sake of leveling, of like checking the level on these beams. The purpose of this, the 2x4, is that it kind of provides a little bit of an offset for that string. So when you pull that string tight, and then I'm going to have a string running along the length of the thing. It should be a 2x4's width above that beam, and then I was able to go through there and check with the 2x4 and see if any spots weren't, which would mainly be just over the post, would be where I'd want to check. If it wasn't the same height that this was, then I knew that it was a little bit off. So I'd want to either shim up the outsides or shim up the insides where the posts were. So I'm going to take this off now because I'm done with that. I don't need to do that anymore. But it's useful stuff. All right. Now, so you can kind of see here, if I turn this light on, you'll be able to see better. It's, yeah, you can see, so I actually notched the beam out. It's just the way that the framing worked out. That's just kind of how it happened. In retrospect, I'm not sure if I would have done it that way, but I think so far it's been okay. It's been just fine. And what I'm going to do is I have a clerestory wall that's going to come out here and sit, like my bottom plate's going to sit out here, and I'm going to have a clerestory wall that's framed up along that. So I notched the post out just how it is, you know. All right, let me just put those holes in there now. Damn it, what did I do with this thing? Sorry, y'all. Taking me hours to get a single thing done here. gonna have to change out the battery pretty soon. Let's see. One left. I'm gonna swap it out. Be right back. on. There we go. Yeah, I'd be curious to see what the what they're planning on doing in the basement too. Slave. Unfinished basement, no insulation on the wall, and putting up framing on the outside walls and throwing up some good insulation for now. Cool. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people, and I was looking on, when I look on like forums and stuff for framing, it seems like a lot of people have discussions about framing in the basement mainly. You know, it seems like it's a pretty common, type of work. Probably because like you, a lot of people have a basement that's unfinished and they want to do stuff with it. That's cool. That's a good place to do it, you know. I can't wait till I'm just doing work inside. That'll be nice. When I get this thing dried in, I can go inside and listen to it, put on a Bluetooth speaker or something, and kind of be out of the weather and everything. That'll be real sweet. Okay, so I just bored these, just bored these 2 holes. I'm actually going to make them just a little bit deeper. Sorry, I forgot there's one more thing I got to do here. Give us more experience. That's awesome. Yeah, Mslave, that's probably good idea. Framing is like not too hard, especially for something like that. Unless you were doing something where you're making like a load-bearing, type wall, which I guess it wouldn't. I have no experience, to be fair, framing inside of a basement like that. I built the basement in here, and then haven't done any framing inside it yet, other than putting up posts and beams that are supporting the posts on the main floor. But I'm assuming that the type of framing you'd be doing in there is basically just putting in, like framing up the thing to hold the insulation, and then maybe framing up a little guest room or something. Who knows? But that'd be awesome. I also would highly suggest building a shed if you have any space to do so, or any interest. It's something like that is kind of nice. That's a good thing where you can just you can make up a plan that's a little bit wacky and just go for it, you know? Well, I say that. I forget people in a lot of other areas have restrictions that we don't have. Out here in our valley, we don't have residential building permits, and you could slap up a shed, no one cares. It's like nothing, you know. You could slap up a shed or an outbuilding, you're not going to get anybody checking on you for permits or any of that stuff. If you're living inside the city limits somewhere, you would probably, but even then, it's like not that strict. Out here, some of these little lean-tos and stuff I've put up just to temporarily put cover over something, it's barely anything, you know. Some 2x4s and some plywood and just threw them together, and it's like whatever, you know. It's got its good and its bad sides. Good for me. Shook a little bit. Your blood runs to me. Fits in nicely in my hand. Says, hold on. Oh, and of course I forgot to bring the screws up here that I was going to actually be putting in. Okay, says, M-Slave, love to learn how to build a shed. I think I'd have to pick up some more tools before I get to that point, though. At minimum, a circular saw. Yeah, you know what? Building a shed, I tell you what, at this point, I mean, I built basically a larger shed for the cabin that I'm actually living in now, and it was a little bit of a learning curve, but once you get into the framing, and like, especially if you get a little bit of experience, like if you know somebody who does a little bit of framing, or if you, I don't know, if you go talk to somebody who does like with, Habitat for Humanity or something, or learn, get someone to show you a little bit. But honestly, you don't even really need to do that. I mean, if you got the money to buy the, the materials and stuff for it, it's not that hard. It's kind of like, I don't know. I'd hesitate to say that to somebody if they're not like mechanically inclined about that stuff. But to me, it was kind of like, you see the plans, you mark the things, and you just kind of nail them together, nail the studs together. And the foundation, it kind of depends what you want to do for the foundation, but there's all kinds of stuff. I don't know. I guess in my mind, it's not that bad. You could pretty easily learn how to put up a shed. As far as the chop saw, or I guess a miter saw, I think that's a chop saw, right? Like the stand, the one that's on the stand that you just bring that thing down and chop it. I'll tell you what, those are 10-inch miter for $30. That's sweet. That's really nice. You know what? Those miter saws or the chop saws are really nice, but I found that I have used my circular saw so much, and I'd say a hell of a lot more. I mean, this is just in my experience. I mean, I know Philly JW, you have some experience yourself, so, but I feel like I've used my circular saw for a lot of stuff. And the nice thing with that is, of course, you can kind of just take it up somewhere. If you need to chop some cups, like cut something off, like an end something, you can just take it up there and, especially if it's a cordless one. The Milwaukee cordless circular saw that I have is really nice. I love it, you know. So I think if I had to choose one, I would probably have chosen the circular saw. And as of right now, I don't actually own a chop saw. I'm just borrowing one from a tool share. Okay. Miter's so nice. Okay, yeah, there we go. That makes sense. Yeah, circular saw is kind of like you just, I mean, God, it's like I use it all the time, you know. It's just like that next to the freaking impact driver or drill, you know. It's like that's like number 2 right there. Mine are so nice. They are so nice. In fact, the thing that they're really nice for is here. Let me show you. Let me see if I can take this camera out. This is going to be another little thing. The Philly JW probably already knows this, but M-Slave, maybe not. So I'll show you. What's really nice about the miter saw or the chop saw, as you would call it. Okay. So if you look here, this is like an angled wall here. All of those cuts on that wall, on this, like, you'd kind of call it a gable wall, I guess, but it's the end wall. So all of those cuts are mitered cuts. And the really nice thing about the miter saw or the chop saw is when you're doing walls like that, where if you're gonna have a wall that's, I think you would call that like balloon framed, where it just goes all the way up to the top plates in that sense, you can basically just set your miter saw or your chop saw to that angle, and then just feed them through there and chop them. You know, set the right length and chop them, and that's it. You don't have to measure the angle every time. Philly JW, I assume you already know about that, but just like I said, M-Slave, that would be one of the really nice things about the miter saw, as well as, for example, if you do something like if you need some blocking, which I'll actually show you another example of that here. Let's see here. So like this is blocking. You can actually see. So like these little pieces here, it went out of focus. So these little boards, like right here, that's like blocking that you actually need that for all kinds of stuff. In this case, I put it at the 8-foot mark. That's one of the things that you need to do for nailing your plywood vertically like that. Is to damn, sorry, I'm gonna try to put this camera back. Let me do that before I start talking anymore. Okay. So then the other nice thing with the chop saw is even if you're not doing mitered cuts like that, you can set like a little block on there to where you're gonna chop. In this case, I think it's like 21.5 inches. If you have two studs that are like on 2-foot centers, then you're gonna have, I think it's, or 22.5 inches. So you're gonna set it to cut 22.5 inches, and you can just feed wood through, chop it, you know, and you basically, then you don't have to measure those out. You can just cut, 100 freaking blocks at that length, and it saves you so much time. So, as Philly JW said, they're very nice. They are really nice for a lot of stuff like that. All right, well, let me go ahead and put these things in here, these screws in. And I'll put the other ones in on the other side too. And then I'm gonna see what time it is, because I might be getting ready to call it at that point. I don't know. Just to this kind of a good clean stopping point once I get all the screws in. So again, M-Slave, I'm not sure if you saw this earlier. I'll just briefly, what I'm using here is these 12-inch timber lock screws, which are really good for going through, in this case, like this 8x12 timber. They have a, what you would call a, like a Torx or a Star head here. It's a T40. So I have this headlamp on. Gotta be careful here. So again, it's like a T40. Pretty hefty screws. And obviously I bored these holes out so that they can actually go down in there. And these are really nice too. For an impact driver, this kind of, this is basically just a rod that extends out your, so you can stick a bit like that. I've used it for tons of stuff, very helpful. Rocky Bottom. All right, those are good. Water we go head over heels. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move the camera. The rocky bottom. To the water with the head over heels. So, let's see. Slay says that's pretty helpful. I'm glad you're find it helpful. Philly JW, which battery is that? I can't get a close up, or can I get a close up? Yeah. Let me grab it real quick. Okay, so this is a it's a 12 amp hour. Let me see. It's actually only 5 amp hours. But it's this Milwaukee. Let's see, what's it called? Red Lithium XC5. It's this M18. You'll see they have other ones like M12. You'll see. I'm assuming that's a 12 volt M18. I'm assuming 18 volt here. And they have like an impact driver. So this M18, they have impact driver, drill, XC 5.0. Yeah, I guess that's right. So, anyways, the impact driver, the drill, and the circular saw. The circular saw and the impact driver. Actually, all three of them I love, but I use the circular saw and the impact driver like crazy. Those things are awesome. Highly recommend. Yeah. I mean, I know that there's a DeWalt drill that I feel like everybody I work with in some capacity or help them out. A lot of people have that DeWalt cordless drill, but yeah, this one very good. Okay, I'm gonna go and get up here now. Let's see, I know a little bit, M-Slave, I know a little about the Milwaukee tools only because I sell a lot of them work. Don't know a ton though. Oh, right on. Philly JW used to work at MKE Tool. Yeah, I think I remember you saying that in the last stream. M-Slave worked at a plumbing supply store in Michigan. Right on. Okay. I can't really complain about the cold too much. It's probably colder where you are than it is here in Montana. But that's, yeah, there you go. So you have probably access to quite a few knowledgeable people. I mean, you know, I know it'd be plumbing specific, but still I know a lot of people there would be pretty handy. All right, I'm going to go ahead and angle the camera up and then just pop up there. I'm going to leave the camera down here for now. Hey, out of curiosity, do you all stream any games? I feel like that's, you know, mainly what Twitch is for, and it's like there's so much other stuff. I remember someone telling me a few streams ago that, you know, there's someone who built a plane like a Cessna on Twitch, and I've seen all kinds of other stuff, of course, people hitchhiking around and stuff. Mars 7000, hey, how's it going? Well, hey, I was just asking him, I was curious to see if anybody else in here, we were talking about construction type stuff, but I was curious if anybody in here streams any games, you know. I don't have a good enough either internet or computer really right now to do that, but Washington's internet sometimes, it's hit or miss. But yeah, But I've seen some crazy stuff. Again, someone told me someone built a plane on Twitch. I haven't really looked into that, but I was like, that's nuts, you know. It made me feel like I gotta step my game up and put out some, you know, make sure my content's good here. Just a house, that's a freaking plane. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put those, drill the holes out up there and then put the screws in. Oh hell, I can bring it up there. I can make it work. Won't take me too long. Jeez, how do I get this on this thing? Okay. Don't look at that weird framing sort of thing I got going on up there. A little bit strange, but the reason I have that, if anybody's knowledgeable about framing, you know, who would wonder, I'm gonna basically be putting a the clerestory is gonna have a little kind of extra tiny stud attached to it, and that's going to fit in that little spot there. Kind of weird. Typically wouldn't see that, but it's kind of just how it worked out. So, Slave, sometimes stream games. This is much better. Oh hell yeah! Right on. Thank you. I don't know what emote that is. All right. Let's see. Can we see what's going on here? Well, if I have my headlamp on, we can. Okay, let me go grab that thing and put these in. Long way down. Okay, I'm going to try to smack this thing back this way a little bit, just because even that's a little bit hard to see. I still have yet to get, this is a much better connection sort of setup, like what do you call it, cell phone holder than I originally started with, but I'm still lacking a little bit. I should get something that kind of bends a little bit more so I could point down and show you here. I can't really. I have kind of to strain it too. Point is, I'm going to smack this in a little bit. This thing isn't screwed in, remember. So, and part of the reason is that I see kind of a larger gap here than I expected to see. Not significant, like I need to worry about it, because this member here will move slightly once I nail it, but I want to get it a little bit closer. Also, again, it's kind of, let's see, those two are touching right here. Those are kind of touching, and I feel like this post may have somehow, or this beam may have actually pushed this wall in this direction a little bit. I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but it could be that once I started screwing it in, it kind of, I don't know, made the other side move. These beams are a little bit funny when you start working with them and screwing them in and stuff, and it makes the other side move around a little bit. Kind of a lot of force. Okay, let me knock that thing over a little bit, then I'll screw it in, or bore the hole and then screw it in. So if I was going to be hammering this thing on the side, hold on. If I was going to be hammering this in a spot that was visible, what I want to do is get a little piece of wood that I could actually stick on here and then hammer the piece of wood so that it doesn't mar up the timbers. The section I'm hammering here though is really not going to be very visible. So just FYI. Not moving too much though. All right, good enough. No, dropped my stuff. Damn, dude. By the way, just another little tip here. Something that's really helpful is if you're going to be marking lumber, hopefully you can see that there, but I have like kind of a, it's good to make a V shape, you know? If you just make like a single straight line, sometimes it's hard to know exactly where, you know, what the correct mark was from, but you make the V shape, you know, okay, that point right there, that's what I'm looking at. It's just a good, you know, you'll see if you work with people who do like framing and stuff, they mark them like that, or like make, it's just something I picked up. I thought it was pretty smart, you know. There's all kinds of stuff as far as marking like top plates and bottom plates when you do framing. There's all kinds of other stuff, you know, that's helpful, but this is just kind of a general thing. Hopefully you catch what I'm getting at there. I don't want to take the camera or the phone off the stand here. All right. When we collide. No. Oh dear me. Yeah, good. There's lots of little stuff like that. Thank you, M-Slave. Some fireworks left over from yesterday, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna start boring these holes now. Did I? don't think it really matters, but I kind of... No, that's good. That's what I want to do. Let's see if I have that there. Yeah, we're good. Check myself. This thing, by the way, another thing is pretty handy. So this drill has the it has like a rock drill setting on it. Even if you don't use that, it has these little clips in here. I think you can see kind of like right here. It's a little bit hard to see on camera, but there's this little indentation right here. You can basically screw on a handle to it. And so if I was like standing on top of this thing and I really wanted to put some pressure on, it has a handle then that you basically just screw onto it and you can kind of push with some extra force. Right now, I'm not really in a good position to use it, so I'm not going to. But it's something that's handy if you really need to put some pressure, again, especially if like using the rock drill or whatever. that's the battery. One of the batteries is a little bit like screwy. That might be the one. Goes out a little bit quick. Okay. All right, getting there. Just a little bit more, and then I'm going to go ahead and put those screws in. Hey, okay. right, I'm gonna put them screws in now. Hey, by the way, I'm curious, guys. Do you guys, excuse me, do you watch any other like building type streams? I know stuff like that, because I know that there's a guy who does stuff like I've seen him in his garage. He's basically building stuff on SketchUp, and it appears that he's like building furniture or something. I don't know exactly what, and I can't remember the guy's name. I follow him, but I mean, other than that, I've seen some stuff here and there, but haven't really watched any like building type streams live. So I was curious if you guys were into that type of stuff in general. Excuse me. Of course, I forgot the screws. Go grab those. Oh, fireworks. Okay, so let's see, M-Slave, haven't watched anyone else that would be similar to this. Philly JW, haven't seen too much on Twitch. Okay, fair enough. Me either, frankly. I was kind of curious, you know. I wonder if you guys could see this. It'd be kind of cool if you could see some fireworks out here. Let's see. We'll see some in a second. Oh. Okay, they weren't that big. Anyways, yeah, okay, cool. I was wondering. I haven't seen anybody building a house or doing something like that on Twitch. I have seen some like, you know, people, some like big ones in the distance. Okay, good. I was just for a little, you know, what the hell. But I've seen some people on YouTube who like vlog about their building and stuff, and I haven't found many of them that interesting. I'll watch a few videos here and there, but I always thought, I was like, hey, it'd be interesting to see somebody doing it live where you don't get to see all the edits and, you know, all the stuff they kind of skip over. This is going to be a pretty like, what's the word? When it covers like everything, you know, all encompassing kind of documentation of all the stupid little mistakes, all the times I forget to bring something up the ladder and have to freaking go back down, all the times when, you know, something has to be looked at a few times. There's like a lot of stuff like that I was like, oh, okay, that's stuff that they obviously is not in a lot of the final product when they you know, unless it's like a big funny mistake or something. Do you watch some YouTube videos, but live is definitely a different experience. I'd like to see more live. Yeah, me too, actually. I would be very interested to see it. Okay, here we go. Let me put these in. All right, here. So I have explained this once, I think last stream probably, but I want to make just make sure that I'm getting the point across. The point of these screws here that are going to be going from the beams into the post, they really they're meant to kind of hold them together, obviously, but they don't provide. I'm not counting on them to provide shear strength. I'm not counting on them to basically, you know, the post and beams that are in the middle in there. I'm not counting on these screws to hold them up, hold them from moving one side or the other, because they really, I don't think they would do that. I don't think they'd provide enough strength in that direction. I don't want to count on that. So I have to basically plan. There's going to be some other stuff providing that sheer strength to keep the walls from moving in either direction. This is just to kind of hold them on there. So when I start putting my roof rafters and stuff on there, they need to be held together basically. I need to have my posts and my beams attached solidly. The other way people would do this if they weren't using this is actually just using some brackets, for example. There's so many ways to attach posts and beams together. I have a very simple, like what you'd call like a butt joint, where these two beams meet up at the post and they just boom, they sit right there. There's so much in terms of like looking at posts and beams, all the different joins you can do and stuff. I have no experience with posts and beams. Mine is just butt joint. I'm going to get a T-plate, like a metal plate that's going to kind of go over the front of it. That's going to provide a little bit of extra shear strength and some looks, some aesthetics. But this whole thing is just, there's a whole world of timber framing that you could really get into that I don't want to get into. I just want to have these things as like a nice, good-looking structural kind of piece here, but I'm not trying to go crazy with it, Anyways, yeah, Philly JW, do watch some YouTube videos, but definitely different experience live. I think I already said that, but yeah, okay. Here we go. All right, after I put these in, I'm probably gonna call it. Don't be afraid. Okay, so I know it's sinking in. You could see that. You might be able to see the beam was getting kind of pulled in that direction a little bit, which is expected. Again, it's kind of the warp and it's showing it. Okay, that's fine. We're good there. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that one for now. I'll put this one in. Okay. So I'm really fortunate for this impact driver. It's very powerful, and it can, because it takes a lot of force to get these things in these through these timbers, you know. That's not, I put on the second power setting and that's not budging there. And this one is probably not really gonna move anymore. Right there. Yeah, not really. Okay, cool. Well, let me go ahead and pull this guy down here. Okay, well, anyways, Philly GW, nice work out there today. Things get done step by step. Yeah, thanks very much, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, they do get step by step, and I work slow anyways, you know. But yeah, I got some other stuff to do tonight, and go get some hot tea or something. My sinus is getting like, dang, man. It's not. It wasn't that cold at first when I got out here, but it's starting to get cold. It's been a lot of fun watching. Glad I found the stream. Looking forward to joining you next time, that's for sure. Right on. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're saying that. Yeah, I'll try to, you know, yeah, keep it entertaining. I think this is kind of a good step to end on because now I've got all the screws in up there. Those things are pretty much sealed to those posts. That's good. Next step is going to be messing with these roof rafters. You know, I was hoping to get to that like a while ago, but here I am, you know. So I'm going to basically the next step is to measure these roof rafters, these common rafters, and so there's going to be part of the rafter where it sits over the top plate that is here. That top plate, the point where it sits on top of that top plate there, it's going to be notched out. So it's like, I think that's what you call a bird's mouth, where it's like, boom, boom, it's kind of like a little triangle that gets cut out of that. And the point being, so that angled board can actually sit flat on top of the top plate there. So, like I said, I'm going to measure those, cut those bird's mouths out, then basically just start putting these rafters up. And that'll be an interesting process. There's one side of them I'm using these rafter hangers, and the other side it's just going to sit on top of the top plate with what you'd call like a hurricane strap, like a little metal strap that keeps it on there. I'll get into that quite a bit more. So again, thanks everybody for watching. Philly JW Slave, and I guess one other viewer now. Yeah, thanks for commenting, and yeah, I'll see y'all. I'll probably be on here tomorrow. So if maybe see you tomorrow. If not, see you soon. Thanks again.